Hi, so we're just going to get ready for the 9 a.m. Facebook Live this morning, which is all about how to sort out your revenue this year if you've actually missed your target so far. So I'm just going to do a little bit of IT. I just got to click refresh on my screen down here to make sure everything is coming through. And while my screen's refreshing, and it'll probably take a few to get it to show, we can just have a little bit of time to let people join the call. So let's see if I can see the Facebook Live myself, because if I can't see it, nobody else can. So let's just see if it's coming up. Yep, there it is. Cool. So we're just going to chat for a minute or two to see who joins us. As people join, if you want to tap your name into the comments below so I can say hi and see who we've got, that would be great. So I've got Todd. Howdy Todd, how you doing? Hopefully one or two others will appear once we've shared this around and let them know that the webinar's live now. We had quite a few opt in to the event, so we'll just share this link into the event page and let everybody know where to join us, and then we can get things going. Meanwhile, hopefully you're all having a good Friday. I've had to put my heating on because I'm finding it a little chilly, which is a bit of a shame considering it's the end of June. So let's just give people another minute or two, because we've only literally it's still just 9 o'clock, so it's not even like we've been live for a minute or two yet. So we'll just give people another second or two to join in, and then I'll start cracking. So this is all about why have you missed your target so far this year and what to do about it. I appreciate, oh hi Caroline, I can see Caroline's giving me some love, hiya. Now, the reason I chose that title wasn't to beat people up. Obviously having a title for a talk saying, missed your targets, here's what to do about it, can be a little bit in your face. And my aim isn't to make any of you feel really bad if you are in that situation. The truth is, if you are in that situation, so if you found we've now completed the first 6 months of the year and you're not on target, you are with the majority of business owners out there, okay? This is really, really common. So absolutely don't beat yourself up about it. Being on the call today is about working out what to do to make sure the next 6 months of 2017 go your way, so you don't get to Christmas beating yourself up because you didn't hit your targets this year, okay? Yeah, exactly, Caroline. It's about making these next 6 months, these last 6 months of 2017 really, really count. So, it only occurred to me yesterday that actually the end of June does signify the first 6 months being over. Now I'm hoping you did actually have a good 6 months, even if you didn't quite hit your targets, that you have actually achieved some really good stuff. So you've got a really good springboard to go from for the next 6 months. But, I'm going to share a little bit of truth that's sometimes a little bit hard to hear, because fundamentally, if you didn't quite hit your targets and you may have been just a little bit off or a huge bit off, that was down to you. Now, the problem is when you run your own business, there is no dove from above to bequeath you a great business. There is no one that's going to suddenly give you a whole load of new clients or new team members, depending on your business, without you doing anything for it. You're not going to suddenly wake up one morning and have a shed load of inquiries land in your inbox. Business just doesn't work that way. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm the first person to say, wow, I'm so lucky, I've just been given this great referral. So sometimes it does feel like there is a dove from above that's just giving you new clients. But that would have only have happened because I'd gone out and taken action previously. Referrals only happen because people know who you are and understand what you do and therefore want to give you leads. So if you're finding you're not getting the number of inquiries, the number of sign-ups that you're after, is because fundamentally you didn't take enough action earlier in the year, or maybe even last year. So what I don't want you to do is beat yourself up for not doing that. What I want you to do is make sure you take enough action from now until Christmas to make sure the rest of this year goes really well and into 2018 with a really, really good start. So let's start sharing the meat of this. So first of all, don't beat yourself up if you are off target, but let's get really, really focused on the fact that it's totally your responsibility and you do have the ability now to step it up for these last 6 months. Now, the biggest reason that people manage to miss their targets is fundamentally they just don't take enough action. Fundamentally, they stay a well-kept secret and then they wonder why they're not getting the level of inquiries they want. Now, most of you know I'm quite a big networker, and I totally believe in the value of networking. I get shed loads of my clients through networking. Probably about 95% of my clients come directly or indirectly through networking at the moment. So I know the value of networking, but it's very easy to kid yourself that if you're out networking a fair bit, that actually you're not a well-kept secret, that enough people do actually know that you exist. Problem is, if you actually think about the number of people you interact with at those networking events, actually that's quite a small number of people. So if you're fundamentally relying on networking to build your business, that could be going a bit slow for you because you're just going to maybe a handful of local events. People who really make networking work for them go to a lot of networking events. They interact with a lot of people and they join it up. So they're not just doing it in the room. Okay, they're doing it on social media. They're doing stuff like this. They're doing talking gigs and this kind of stuff at the networking events. They're doing a lot of stuff beyond just turning up and being in the room. Now, I'm not about to encroach on Steph Thomas's ground here and start talking about how to improve your networking. But what I want you to do is to realise that if you are relying on networking predominantly to grow your business, you have to put a decent amount of effort into it to actually make that work for you. You know, Todd just said, call me the action man. So you've got to really see it through. You've got to realise that just going to a few events isn't going to cut it for you. You've got to really think about how to maximise that time you're spending networking. I mean, for me, like I say, I'm a big networker and I really believe in the power of it. But when I think about how much time I'm spending on my business development, I don't include my networking hours. Because if I do, it would be so easy to convince myself I was doing shed loads of business development because I'm actually spending 3 hours to go to a networking event when you include travel time. But those 3 hours aren't necessarily solid business development. I'm in the room and I'm doing the networking thing. But if I spent 3 hours at my desk doing business development, that would look very different to the 3 hours I spent at a networking event. So it's almost for all the time you spend networking, you need to double that and spend it again at your desk, actually doing hardcore business development activity. Because fundamentally, right, if you're out networking and you think you are actually out there enough to generate the level of inquiries you want, and you're not actually getting the inquiries, then there's something wrong with your message. This is the other big thing. Either people stay too much of a well-kept secret or their message isn't good enough. Now, again, right, you're watching this because you want advice, so I'm not going to sugarcoat this. So fundamentally, if you're out and you're doing your 40 or 60 seconds at a networking event, or you're out putting stuff on LinkedIn or on social media and people aren't giving you any inquiries, it's because your message isn't right. For some reason, it's not resonating with the people you need it to resonate with. So if you are suffering from that, please do look at the message. Now, to get this right, you need to be really clear on who your ideal clients are, be really clear of the value you deliver to them, and make sure you have a really clear call to action, which is the bit that tells them what you want them to do. So like, so if you're interested, inbox me, or if you're interested, come and grab me for a one-to-one. That is a call to action. So you need to be clear on your ideal clients, clear on the value you deliver, and then package it up and shove a good call to action on the end. That then will start transforming your ability to generate inquiries, whether that's networking, so you're doing it face-to-face, or whether you're doing it online. You need to have that piece working really, really well in order to get the level of inquiries coming in. Now, if you find you get inquiries, but for some reason you aren't converting them, then obviously your problem is further down your sales funnel. Your challenge there is how to have a really good constructive sales conversation to get people to the end. Now, in all fairness, I just did a day's workshop on this, so I can't cram much of that into a quick 15-minute Facebook Live. But again, it still comes down to making sure you understand the value you deliver and sort of drawing out through that conversation why somebody wants you to do what it is you do to help them. So that's all. John's just arrived onto the Facebook Live, so I know he's a video production guy. So it's about pulling out why somebody wants better video on their website or video for their function or occasion, and therefore you can then tell them why you're the best person to do it. If you allow yourself to be bland, I'm not saying John does this, but if you allow yourself to be a bit bland and not totally nail that sales discussion, you won't get people sign up. It is as black and white as that. Okay, you need to be really compelling to make people want to pay you. This is the way it works. If you aren't compelling about why somebody wants to buy your stuff or why they should buy your stuff, then people literally won't buy your stuff. So if you find you are getting the inquiries but not getting the sign-ups and getting people to commit to being a client for whatever reason, then really look at how you're handling that sales discussion, because that really will be the bit that's causing you a problem. Now, Todd's just put something in there about his 40 seconds. That's very much a full networking thing. In 4N, we stand up, we do a pitch to the room, which is called our 40 seconds. And he's dead right. A lot of people mess up their 40 seconds by just not being clear about who they want to work with or who they want introductions to, why, and then what to do about it. They miss off the call to action quite often. And if you put a really good call to action in, people do it. You know, it really is that simple. People need to be told what you want them to do. Don't assume people are going to join up the dots, because they don't. You need to do it for them. So, you know, don't fall foul of that. It's so easy. Sometimes we feel like we're not allowed to sell when we're out networking, but that's not true. You know, you can, in a really lovely way, still sell what you do without being pushy. It's okay to say you can help someone if they're stood there saying that they want, Gary's just popped up and so's Todd. So if somebody's got pain with social media, it's okay to say you can help them. That's not being overtly salesy. That's just doing the right thing by them and by yourself. So let's just go through the main pain points as people have joined the call a bit later. So the main pain point is people don't get out there enough. They stay a well-kept secret. So if you aren't getting the inquiries, it's a really good chance you're just a well-kept secret. So you've got to break free of that. And a way of doing that in a really compelling way is to be really clear on your ideal clients and the value you deliver. Alison is saying very true, all of this. I mean, Alison, you're a really, really good example of someone who is so incredibly lovely. You know, we just need to let more people know that you're incredibly lovely and so good at what you do, and that will help you generate more inquiries. If you think about, it's like throwing a stone into a puddle and seeing the ripples come out. If you're just going to a few networking events, there's only a few little tiny ripples and they soon fizzle out. But imagine if you're doing lots of noise in lots of different ways, those ripples will just keep going on and on and on. And to break out of being a well-kept secret, you do need to do multiple different types of business development, not marketing activity. Networking is only one. Social media is another. But again, it only gives you two. Think about it, I probably do something like about 8 or 10 every month. And I do them continually. And it just keeps the sales funnel active. There's always stuff coming through because I've always got different channels going on to generate that interest. I don't rely on just one or two. Now, I know I mentioned at the beginning, right, there is no dove from above. And quite often it's easy, if we're having a bit of a down day and you're thinking, crap, I've missed my targets again kind of thing, and you're getting down on yourself, it's really easy to convince yourself it's because of some other issue. And obviously some classic ones right now is because of Brexit, it's because of Theresa May, it could be, exchange rate issues, it could be because your competition's really good. Now, those may all be true, but you know what? Don't allow yourself to think you have no control over things. There will be companies out there right now in the same situation as you, but they'll decide to make the most of it. I've got a client at the moment who have seen, because we monitor their numbers, we know there's been a downturn in their inquiry levels in a certain sector that they go after. So we're going to go after an allied sector just while this sector settles down. And some of that has been due to Brexit and issues with exchange rate. So you know what? We're not going to sit there and be a victim and let our sales go down. We're going to go and find where the money is at the moment, where people are still happy to spend, because they're quite as happy in that sector as they are in the one that's had a bit of a downturn. So there will be other companies in your sector doing exactly that, and they will thrive through this time of uncertainty. Don't be one of the ones that struggles just because you've allowed yourself to believe that because of Brexit and the government that you're going to struggle. There are always ways of doing really well, even through times of uncertainty. Okay, another classic thing is the summer slowdown. In some ways, this is a bit of a crappy time of the year to try and grow your business. I always find May and June are really good bumper months, but then once you hit July, people get into that summer holiday mentality and buying decisions slow right down until the children go back to school in September. But now, some of you have seasonal businesses and this could be your boom time, so obviously go at it if it is. But if you do suffer from that seasonal quiet time, there'll be stuff you can do to drive buying behaviour through this period. So, it's by no accident that one of my clients is actually doing a big push on marketing right now and using the summer slowdown for the exact reason why somebody should now buy their stuff. So, if you're a graphic designer, web developer, marketing agency, comms, PR, that kind of thing, this is a great time to push people to get stuff sorted so they're ready for the push in September when everybody comes back and wants to make buying decisions. You can, for your clients that will be involved in a September push, you can get them to do stuff now so they're ready for that September push. You don't want them to wake up in September and realise then that they need a polished up website, new marketing material, new images for their website, because then it's going to be a mad rush. If you get them to think about it now, you get work through the summer, and your clients are really best placed to make the most of it when everything does start booming again in September. So you can use this seasonal behaviour to your advantage, even if you're a kind of business that usually has a quiet summer. Again, it's totally up to you. I find the amount of action people will take is usually sort of directly proportional to how much financial pain they're in with their business, or how frustrated they are that their business targets aren't where they want them to be. So if you know you want a bigger result, really test yourself now to actually work out what you can do to make that happen. You know, who is it that's on your radar that actually you could go and have a conversation with, but for whatever reason you haven't done it? Go and tap them up and have that conversation. Who is it that you know that actually, if you think about it, has expressed an interest in finding out more about what you do, but for whatever reason, you didn't follow it up? Go and follow them up. I mean, if you think most people need to see your brand or your products about 8 times before they actually go and make a buying decision, and you think a lot of people need to be followed up 5 times to get them to the point of actually making the decision, that shows you how many times you need to interact with people to get them to buy your stuff. So don't fall at the first or second hurdle. Don't allow that little voice in your head to convince yourself they don't want your stuff. They probably do. They've just got busy, or they have questions about it, and the only way you can answer those questions and win the work is by actually having the dialogue. If you don't have the dialogue, you're not going to get the sale. It is that black and white. You know what? And people, they don't tend to mind when you follow up with them. You know, again, I can't go into this in huge detail because it takes a whole day to cover this kind of stuff. But there are ways of having that conversation that aren't pushy and aggressive. You know, don't feel bad about following up. It is a total normal business thing to do. So if you want to improve your sort of like results for the last half of this year, you're going to have to change your behaviour. I'm a great advocate of Mark Twain. So Mark Twain came out with a phrase, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And he's dead right. So a lot of people will sit there and go, oh, you know what, I really need to get better results for the rest of the year. And then for some reason they go, so I'm going to carry on doing the same thing I've done for the last 6 months and the 6 months before that and the 6 months before that, right? But logically, that isn't going to work, is it? Why is all of a sudden something that hasn't worked for 6 or 12 months going to suddenly work differently in the next 6 months? It's not, but yet that's what people do. So if you want better results, please, please, please don't do the same thing, because you know that's not going to be the answer, right? You know inherently that's not going to be the answer. Now, I appreciate changing the way you do stuff can feel a little bit, you know, odd. It's a comfort zone issue. We don't like doing it. And in all fairness, I'm not a big fan of doing Facebook Lives, but I know it's a good thing to do, so I do them. And you've got to work out what it is for you that would actually make those changes to actually help you get better results. Quite often, we're not talking radical changes here. It might just be just sitting down and working out how you need to change your marketing message to try and drive better results. You know what? There is no silver bullet. If anybody's telling you there's a silver bullet to improving your results, they're lying. But there are some really simple, easy things you can do to just review your performance so far, review how it is you're positioning yourself to actually then make some changes and get better results. And only you can do that, okay? You need to sit down and work out, actually, out of everything I've done, this is where the bulk of my sales come from. How can I do more of that? You know, this is the message that's worked the best. How can I get that out more? If you want bigger results, you've got to do that review and then go for it. Because I always think, right, the thing that drives me, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm no different to you. I have comfort zone issues. I'd much rather just sit and hide behind my laptop and not go networking and not go on Facebook Live. You know, I would love it if just business just fell in my lap. But I know that's not going to happen. I know I've got to get out there. So I sit and review and decide to make small changes and then go at it again to improve the results. And I do that continually. I have a continual sort of like process improvement, if you like, cycle going on my sales to always ensure my results go up and up and up. You know, I think people sometimes think I'm like just lucky, it's all right for her, it comes so easily to her. I've had to work at this. You know, what people don't see is the amount of effort that goes on behind the scenes to make sure I have a thriving business. You know, I am so blessed to have such a number of wonderful clients, which actually then makes it harder to do all the biz dev stuff because I still have to find time for that while I'm working with my clients. But I do that. I find the time for the biz dev because I want the result. And if I don't find the time, I'm going to penalise myself, penalise my husband and children, because either they won't see me as much because I've got to spend more time working, or I won't be bringing in the level of money to help fund our lifestyle, which obviously they won't be too pleased about either. And it's just not on, is it? I mean, ultimately, I'll penalise my clients because if I really screw up, the business goes. Now, obviously, I have no plans to screw up. I believe in getting out there and helping people. That's why I do this. That's why I do Facebook Lives with free content in them and stuff. Because some of this stuff just isn't hard. You just need to do it. So if you have missed your goals so far for the year, don't panic, right? Don't beat yourself up. Just kind of draw a line under it and go, okay, what can I do better for the next 6 months? But do this quickly. Time goes so fast. We'll blink and it'll be September. We'll blink and it'll be Christmas. So don't blow the next 6 months. Put a bit of effort in now to review where you are and make some key decisions. Just choose 1 or 2 things that you're going to change and then do it. Okay, that is the big thing as ever. I always feel I should wear a Nike t-shirt when I do this. It says, just do it. You just need to do it. There is no, guaranteed success from any changes you'll make. But the only thing that is guaranteed is you're going to get the same result you have now if you don't make changes. And if you're watching this, I'm assuming you don't want that to be the case. You don't want to keep the same result. You want a better result. So please just make a couple of changes, see what happens, review the data, make some more changes, review the data, make some more changes, and just keep evolving and pushing your business forward. It's not difficult. Just think about your ideal clients, think about how to get under their noses as cheaply as possible, and you'll gain success if you have a good message. That's all you've got to do to get better results. It really is that simple. Now, I've been talking now for 20 minutes, and I thought it was only be a quick 15-minute one. Yeah, Todd's right. This is a JFDI. You do just have to do this. If you want better results, you have the ability to achieve that, but you have to do it. Now, obviously, one option, if you know there's something you're not good at, is you work with someone, okay? If you know that you need help acing your digital marketing, you sign up with people like Spaghetti. That's what I did. And he's the reason why I do Facebook Live. So if you don't like me on Facebook Live, blame Todd. So work with somebody like Steph Thomas. If you know it's your networking that needs to be tweaked, work with Steph Thomas. If you're a service-based business, if you exchange your time for money, if you're a service-based business like that, I am Claire McTurnan. I'm the only person in the UK that specialises in sustainable growth for service businesses. I help businesses like that grow day in, day out. This is what I specialise in and I love doing. Now, people don't tend to do this, but for the first time for me, on Wednesday next week, on the 5th of July, I am running what's called a Discovery Day. So this is a day that's totally free to attend, where only six people can come and spend a day with me to find out sort of like how I actually help my clients. I'm going to talk about the methodology I use. I'm going to go through all of this in reasonable detail for those 6 people, because I have space to bring online 4 more clients. Only 4. I'm generally known to be maxed out, but I've changed the way I'm working with my clients, so I've opened up space for 4 clients. Now, there's 6 places. 5 of them are gone. There's only 1 place left for somebody to join me on that Discovery Day. Now, it's next Friday. So if you've ever thought about what would it be like to work with somebody like me to help you grow your business, this is your chance to find out. You can come along to this day and ask me all those kind of questions you've often wondered about, like, would it work for me? How much time commitment's involved? How much does it cost? All that kind of stuff. You can find out on Wednesday, the 5th of July. I'm holding it in Solihull. I've got somebody from Lincolnshire coming. I've got somebody coming up from Bath, and I've got some local people too. This is a golden opportunity if you really want to find out what it's like to work with somebody like me. I mean, you can, most of you know me. You know my testimonials I get from my clients. I absolutely love what I do, and my clients get great results. So if you want to know, if you feel like actually maybe you need someone to come and help you shift to get those better results for the next half of the year, then please do let me know. All you got to do is either follow the link that's been shared, you can see it under my name there on the comments, and book yourself in, or just drop me a message, right, and let's have a chat about it. This isn't for everybody, but I have 1 space left, and I won't be rerunning this anytime soon, okay? I have 1 space left. So if you want to know what it's like to work with me and be able to ask me all those questions that you've been wondering about, then please follow the link or drop me a personal message and let's have the chat about it. Now, it's funny, I promised myself I would do this Facebook Live a little bit slower than the others, but I think, like usual, I've got so passionate and animated about my topic that I've whizzed through this. But I hope you've really enjoyed it. For those that have joined towards the end, I saw Jamie pop in there towards the end. please, once this is like downloaded properly onto Facebook, watch it again from the beginning and get the content. You know, you have the ability to really up things for the rest of 2017. Please make the most of that opportunity. If you don't, unfortunately, you'll only have yourself to blame, and that's a real shame. I like to get to the point of Boxing Day, so the 26th of December, knowing that I went all out to get the results I wanted this year. You know, that I did everything I could to actually achieve the targets. And you know what? I'm pretty good at getting there. I'm pretty good at hitting those targets because I don't leave it to chance. You know, I put a plan in place, I go for it, right? But it all starts in knowing what I want to achieve and breaking it down so I know what I've got to do in roughly 6-week chunks, because I work to the school timetable of like holiday, 6 weeks of term, half term, 6 weeks, another holiday. So I run my business in those sort of 6 weekly chunks to keep me really focused, okay? I know what I need to change each 6 weeks, I know what I've got to achieve each 6 weeks, and I get it done. So please sit down, review what you've done so far, work out those small improvements you need to make, and then implement them. Now, I think I've talked long enough. I've been online now for 24 minutes. I think that's plenty long enough to listen to me. If you are interested in that last place on the discovery day, please do pop something in the comments or drop me a message or phone me or email me and let's have a chat about it. There's only one place. It's free to attend, okay? It's totally free. So if you ever wondered about working with somebody like me, if you have a service-based business, so you exchange your time for money, then please do make the most of that one place I have left. Yeah, I'm Claire McTurnan. I've loved sharing the content with you. Hopefully you've had a good time. There's been a load of comments. I'll go through them in a minute. And thank you for listening. Fantastic. Bye.